Great. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to week 11. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this term has absolutely flown past. And it's week 11 before you know it. It's over. And suppose on one hand, it's something to celebrate because, yeah, you are nearly there. But on the other hand, there's still things that need to be done. And for many of you, you're still just getting those final little tasks completed for this unit. So, which reminds me, this week 11 on Friday, the LPB is due. And I know many of you are really striving to that. I've seen that there are people that have already put up their assessment. So, congratulations to you if you've got that assessment up already. For those of you that are still going along with it, keep working, just keep plodding away. We were just chatting before this lecture started, and I was just saying to contact your support lecturer if you have queries, and it could be queries in relation to how you're responding to the questions. It could be how you're responding, the content, the whatever sort of queries you have. Remember that the support lecturers are there to help you with that. So once the LPB is completed, then we'll be talking about quiz 2. Now, quiz 2 is our final assessment for the term, and it's due at the end of the term, so the Monday after term finishes. And once that's done, you guys are finished. You can pat yourselves on the back and say, well done, you have completed prep skills for university. So that's wonderful. Right, let's get started on this week's topic. And this week, it's all around the world of work. And so we're going to really be chatting about what it means to be out there in the workforce and how can you get the most out of these careers that you want to go into. Now, last week we talked about the careers, and you've been able to delve into that a little bit deeper. So we're building on that now, talking about how you can make this opportunity enjoyable. So get into a professional career that you actually do find enjoyable. So to begin with, have any of you ever seen this image that I've got on the screen? It's one that's, as you can see, it's quite an oldie. It's actually back in around the 1930s. And this image shows you, well, so I suppose what it depicts is this era of work that was years ago. And these builders or contractors were actually building the Empire State Building in New York City. And this construction began in about 1930. And it took about, oh, golly, 3,500 workers. And most of these guys were European immigrants. But when you look at this, and you look at, say, like the health and safety of what it might have been like back then, how much has the workforce changed over these years? Safety standards back then were a much different standard to what they are today. I will tell you, however, this photo was staged. They actually did have a platform under them, so it's not an unsafe photo. But when you look back at some of the older workplaces like this, their standards, their safety standards were a lot different. Even the working environment was very, very much different to what we have in today's society. So this is just a little bit of a preface, for what we're about to get into. To begin with, however, when I can flick screens, I just want to start and respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we live, work and play. I pay my respects to the First Nations people and their elders, past, present and future. And this image here that I have on the screen actually depicts the coastline up along our Queensland coast. So any of you people that are lucky enough to live up here, this is what we get to see most of the time, that lovely creamy colour sand, the real dark, deep blue of the ocean, and yeah, the breakers like that as well. Okay, so the module learning outcomes for this week is number one, we're going to look at your personal values and beliefs about work. We're going to just delve into the broader benefits of a working life and what you can get, what you can get out of it. And then we're going to talk about social innovation and how social innovation is a way that you can give back to others, either in volunteering or step out of your comfort zone and actually start some type of initiative. So let's start here. So here we've got a little bit of an image, and I want you just to have a look at this image, and then in just a very short little sentence, pop in the chat, what do you think it represents? And Bree's going to share all your thoughts. Let's see what everyone says.
Kristen's just popped in there looking for work. Lots of people out looking for work. Follow the path, Angus has said. Graduation, Barter. What do you mean by graduation? Pop in a bit more info there. Ashley said working class. Tristan said it's a bit glim. Yeah, Linda falling into line. The daily grind, Ali said. Yeah. So it's all very like uniform. End of the day, 9 to 5 on Collins Street. Logan said, yeah, great comments, everyone.
Good, yeah.
It's all very bit dark and dreary, this one.
It is, isn't it? It is, very much so.
Oh, all moving towards the same direction, Cheyenne. Yeah, and Keisha's just said that it's 5 p.m, everyone's returning from work, backgrounds, everyone is the same, but closer, everyone's a bit of an individual.
Oh, Keisha, you've actually nailed what John Brack was representing in this image. Well done. And this painting, John Brack, he was wanting to represent this overarching sense of drudgery of the 9 to 5, workplace that they had years ago. And then what he's done in this image, he's actually pulled, what he wanted to bring out was the individuals in this image. So even though you sort of see them all drudging home at the end of the day, he's actually pulled out the images of the faces, and he wants to draw attention to them. He wants to personalize it and say, look, these are people. These are normal people. They have lives. They have hope. They want meaning in everything that they do. And so this is what he really wanted to draw out in this image. And even back in the when was this, 1950s, I think it was 1955, he sort of wanted to show people it's not all about this work and the 9 to 5. It is about being individual, finding meaning in what you're doing. So it's a great segue into what we're going to be talking about. And this is a great quote from Studs Terkel. It says, working is about the search for daily meaning as well as daily bread, for recognition as well as cash, for astonishment rather than torpor. In short, for a sort of life rather than a Monday through Friday sort of dying. And when you really look into that and break it down, look at the words that are being used, meaning, recognition, astonishment. It's about getting something out of it that's not just the money. And let's be honest, we all go to work to earn money. Not many of us, have been gifted with a silver spoon. So we do need to work in order to be able to afford our lives and to take care of our families. But we crave more than that, and every individual does. They crave more than just going to work to earn money. Otherwise, you don't enjoy the job. And then he's saying, we search for this meaning, this daily meaning. We search for recognition, being seen as an identity, as a person, and that enjoyment that the job can bring. Something every day you go home saying, wow, I learned something new today. Oh, you should have seen who I met today. Or I was talking to this person and they told me this. It's about that astonishment, really enjoying the job. And this is what we want you to be looking at when you start thinking about careers. How can you get this in the careers that you choose? So we're going to do, this first part is to identify personal values and beliefs about work. Just going to show you a quick image here. And this probably won't represent a lot of you, but there's ideas of values and beliefs it's been around like forever. And our values are sort of developed from a very early stage in our lives. And this image here is about a guy reflecting on his family, reflecting on what his family was like. And within just this image itself, there's more to this. It really represents actually his recollection of family and values here. But our family and our community play a significant role in shaping our beliefs and our values. And as we grow older, we actually also gain this life experience and we develop our own unique perspectives as well. It doesn't have to be exactly what our parents raised in us. So our personal values system is actually the culmination of all your personal values. Oh, flip back here, I've gone too far. Together, each of these, they sort of shape the way you interact with the world around you and really what you take and what you give to that world. So your personal values are really formed very early in your life from your parents, from your caregivers, your siblings and your family members, they feed into you as well. Then you find as you're going through schooling, you're getting more values fed in. And look, sometimes they're really positive, sometimes they're not. And so you're constantly learning and taking away things from your interactions with people. You have your friends, you'll have your community that is also feeds that values. Your religion or your spirituality plays a huge part, as well as your cultural expectations from various cultural backgrounds. So all of these, it's like this big cesspool of people just feeding into you, and you've got to sort of work out what is it what do you value? What do you really love about life? What do you want to get out of work? What do you want to get out of life? Like, this is where you start to form your own personal identity. And it's through identifying these and your values that you can start to work this out. So whilst we talk values, and you have some very deep ensconced personal values, there are also values that relate to the workforce, right? Now, some of these will intertwine, of course, they need to, but some of your real deep-seated personal values will feed into these particular workplace values. So these work values really, there are, could use a term subset, I suppose, of these fundamental beliefs that guide you in your life choices. Now, as you develop your workplace values, then important decisions like career moves, changing jobs, looking for different promotions, going to different roles, they become easier as you know what really matters to you, right? You're not just taking the job because it just opens up. You start to make this decision about, well, I could do that, but actually that clashes with what I really believe. I want to see myself go this way. And so you take that path. So these are some of the, we just keep clicking, workplace values that, might be something that you see in yourself. Things like, respect, actually receiving respect from people, but giving respect as well. One of your workplace values could be leadership, wanting to lead a team and do it in such a way that they feel seen and heard. It could be that you being a team player is a huge thing for you, knowing that you're working within a team and you're all, putting in as much as each other. Tolerance could be one of your workplace values. For some, it's about reliability. If you want to be a reliable person, you make sure things are getting done on time, but you may also want to see that in other people as well. And even attention to detail. Some people are so detail oriented and others are go by the skin of their teeth. So sometimes you just got to be watching these. Where are your values and what are you looking for when you go to a job? And delivering quality, being creative. Like, these are some things that people don't even think about, but hey, it might be that you love to be creative. You love to have these ideas and be able to be told to run with your ideas, see how it goes. It could be a part of what you really value in the workplace. Another one, I see a lot of this in people, is honesty. you demand honesty of yourself, maybe you expect to see that in other people as well. And if if that's not there, it might clash. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you a few shows, and I want you to think about it, and in the chat very quickly put up what you think one of the first values are that comes to mind. Now, some of these shows you may not know, so I'll quickly talk through it and see what you think. So this first one, this is The Wolf of Wall Street, and this was back in, oh golly, about 2013, I think. So this was a real American epic comedy crime sort of film, and it recounts this main character, his career as a stockbroker in New York City, and how his firm engaged in rampant corruption and fraud on Wall Street, leading to his downfall. So what do you think some of the values are that fed that?
Angus was just so quick off the mark.
Like that.
He said greed, I think, the minute you put this picture up. But we've got a few different ones. Selfishness from Tristan, cheating from Keisha. Oh, teamwork from Ashley. Yeah.
There's definitely teamwork.
Yeah. Susanna said manipulation. Yep. Brad, corruption. Oh, Linda said leadership, which yeah, that's true. There was a lot of in that movie, like that sort of almost blind, following the leader.
Exactly. Yes. And if you've got a leader like that, and if your values sort of align with his, as in greed and corruption and that, then you could be dragged into that so easily. But what about money? If anyone was in there that had that value of honesty and doing things right? I mean, that would have been a real conflict for him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's almost cultish. Yeah. Sorry.
And like we see this, and yes, it's a movie, but this actually does happen in the real world. It is out there, and different jobs you go into, you're going to be coming across different people and very different values and beliefs like this. So I think it's just awareness is really, really key. So that's one. Let's have a look at this next one. I don't know if you guys remember this one. I loved this show, actually. This was called The Intern. I think it's just The Intern. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, just The Intern. And this was around 2015. I love this because Robert De Niro, he just played such a great part. Anne Hathaway, and I vaguely recall Rene Russo might have been in the show too. But this plot was Robert De Niro was a 70-year-old widower who becomes a senior intern at an online fashion website. And he forms this really unlikely relationship with this young CEO workaholic. But he's sort of come from a past of being right up there, high level corporate, and jumped straight down into this. So what do you think some of the values he would bring into this role?
Some great ones here. We've got honesty, wisdom, friendship, reinvention, which I really love, humility, mentorship, loyalty, humbleness, adaptability. Oh my gosh, everybody's got some great.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you read what you guys have just identified there, if you're working with someone like that, do you think that would be a really nice environment to work in?
Certainly prefer it to the Wall Street environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tristan said, yeah, great workplace.
Yeah, very much. And again, there's a little bit in this is about that understanding and respecting the people that you're working with. So this man who's coming from, this high level position, he's had to, gosh, I don't want to say sink, but he's had to really go into one of these lowest level positions. But he still remained humble, and he did share his experience. But this young girl had to be open enough to learn from him, right? And that is one of the things as you go into high level leadership. Just because you're up there doesn't mean that you know everything. There's a lot that you can learn from others, and it's about seeing these values in these people. So, yeah, it's a great one. Any more comments, Bree, that you need to bring?
I've just got a good one here from Linda, just comparing, I think, the Wolf of Wall Street to The Intern. It's sharks versus puppies. I like that.
Very good. Very good.
And Brad has just said safety at work is a happy workplace. So, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, so much so. So much so. You know, we talked when in our brain week, when we did our brain week, we talked about the principles of brain-based learning. And one of the things is that if you are in an environment that is very negative and toxic, your brain shuts down. It just can't work properly. Whereas if you're in a place where you're enjoying it, you feel safe, then you're going to take in stuff, take in knowledge and be more creative. And the same goes for workplaces. You know, if you're in a toxic environment, it just shuts you down and there's no room for growth. So yes, if you can find that really good, conducive, supportive environment, then yeah, definitely going to be a better place. Okay, next one. This is an oldie, but a goodie. And I just want to sing, but I'm not going to do that to you. So working 9 to 5. This was, oh golly, this is back in the 1980s. Some of you weren't probably even born at this time. It's such a beautiful show. But these were these three working women who just live out their own fantasies of getting even and overthrowing the company's autocratic. And I think the wording that I saw was sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot boss. So, to what do you think, with you see these ladies who are very supportive of each other, what's the values?
So we've a few people are just commenting on how much they love the song, which I do agree. It's a great song. And I do love how Dolly played it on her nails.
Oh,
Excellent. Anyway, Susanna said empowerment. Yep, Tristan's agreed. And yeah, Keisha's just commenting that in this image, all the ladies in the background are sort of looking at them with admiration.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, and
absolutely.
Angus said sexism. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, some good
Oh,
solidarity. That's a good one.
yeah, yeah.
Love it.
You know, another values that we could probably align to this could be things like friendship, because there was that friendship that sort of corded them together. Honesty, potentially. There was the gender, the femininity there. And back then, that was sort of only just starting to sort of come out. Equality, you know, feminist and equality was only really starting to come out. So,
yeah, there's some other ones there too. Linda's just popped in fighting for the better cause, which is great.
yeah.
And Keisha said leadership. Yep, self-respect. Yeah, some really good ones.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
a great one.
just a note
Self-respect.
on the
Yep.
on the friendship thing too. At the beginning of the movie, if anyone has seen this movie, they're quite different women too. They're not similar. So it's sort of that coming together and putting aside differences.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Let's have another look at this one. Now, you might not have actually seen this one, but it is a more contemporary show. But this one's called Muster Dogs. And when you look at this one, this show was about 5 different graziers from right across Australia. And they're given these 5 like Kelpie puppies each from the same litter. And met with the challenge of transforming these uniquely Australian dogs into champion working dogs. So what do you think sort of the values are that's being depicted in this show?
Perhaps it's going off.
Yeah, it's my screen playing up, is it? My video.
It did for a minute, but it seems to be all good again. It just
yeah, I could see it flashing. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, it looks fine on this end now.
Oh,
Tristan's just said teamwork. It's between the people and their dogs as well as people. Companionship and leadership, loyalty, hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah, persistence, trust and determination, dedication, consistency. Oh, so many great words.
That's
I
amazing.
love this show because Mola, I have a Kelpie and she looks very
Oh,
much like this dark one, my Rosie.
oh, which one? What color?
The black and
Yeah.
tan. Yeah, it looks just
Yeah.
like
Oh, they're
Rosie.
beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. We had a brown one and he decided he was going to take my little 1-year-old son for a walk.
Oh,
We just walked around the streets together.
oh, nice.
30 years ago. Oh, they are beautiful. But yeah, when you look at these, when you train dogs, you've really got to build up that loyalty. But then alongside that is discipline in order for them to follow your instructions. And that takes a lot of patience. So these are the values that you see, you know, within this show. It's beautiful, beautiful show. Okay, think about one more. Let's see if you guys know this one. This is The Devil Wears Prada. Oh, it was this is 2006, this one. And um what's her name again? Anne Hathaway
Yeah.
gets a job as a junior personal assistant, I think, in this
Yeah.
job. And
Yep.
this is one that, so many girls would kill for this job. So she really had to live up to this image to get into this role, to live up to this high level image. So what sort of values do you think's really being depicted in this movie?
A couple of people were again very quick off the mark. So yeah, toxic, arrogance,
Yep.
dedication.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks rather subservient. Yes, fake. Yeah, self-sacrifice.
Mm. Fair bit of that in that sort of role, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, and against morals, Linda
It
Smith said.
can be,
Yeah.
but for some people, it might actually align to their morals. So it
Yeah,
might be against yours, but it could be aligns with somebody else's.
that's right. It's sort of a fish out of water
Mm.
movie in that Anne Hathaway's character is sort of, yeah,
Yes.
in an unusual position where this isn't her world. But there's other people in there, you're right, Trix, who this is their world. And
Yeah. I don't know why
yeah.
my
Oh
stop
dear,
it.
having a moment.
Oh well,
We we can
I've
still
got a
hear you
disco
fine.
happening here.
Yeah, you just got a rave.
Just pretend that's what's happening. Oh dear, this better not keep going. I don't know what's going on. Come on, be a good girl. Okay, I'm in a disco environment. I might just try something for 1 second. Is it going to work? Turn my video, stop video. Okay, you get to look at that for a moment just so it doesn't distract you. So yeah, with this Devil Wears Prada, what you're seeing here is there's this value of perfection, and everything that people do, it's about being perfect. You have the perfect image. Your fashion is perfect. It's all this competition, and like you can even say with, is there teamwork in there, or is it very much a clash of the values of teamwork because you're against each other, you're trying to knock people down all the time? So yeah, you can sort of see these different values there again. So here we've had 4 different shows, and yet each one of them is showing very different values within each. And I'm certain out of these you'll be able to say, well, I like these 2 particular ones because they align to me. And some of us could find ourselves in a couple of these different shows. So what I want you to do now, we're going to sort of bring this around now and realign it to ourselves. And let's see if this is going to work again for me. Hello again. Bring it back to yourselves. And I want you to list down, say, 2 or 3 jobs that you have a very strong memory of. Now, I say 2 or 3 because some of you might have only ever had one job. So write that down. For older people, just choose, 2 or 3 jobs that you've had and just jot down where they were.
There's now
I'm not going to get you to
conspiracy.
share. Sorry.
I was just going to say there's conspiracy theories in the chat. You've been replaced, Trixie. We're concerned.
Does she still sound like me?
I don't think it'd be a bad thing to have 2 Trixies, to be honest.
Don't know about that. Ask my husband. Rightio. So hopefully you've written down a couple of jobs. Now, look, even for me and Brie, we both could say write down jobs here too. And some of the jobs you have some really great memories about, some you don't. And I want you to have both those sort of memories because this is going to help you to understand better about values. So in this next slide, we're going to use our annotate tool. Please don't ask me how to find it. It's somewhere there.
You should have a little green like pencil somewhere. Mine's
Yeah, there
down the
should be a
bottom
little
of my
pencil somewhere.
screen.
What I want you to do is have a look at these values, right? And choose, say, 3. See, here you go. Click 3, like Keisha's done with the little love heart or something like that. Choose the 3 that you think are your sort of strongest attributes or what you value the most in a workplace. Was it hard, Keisha, only choosing 3? You think I should make it 4? This is interesting. Now, let's just keep watching this screen and see where people are putting theirs. It's okay. Just take your time and read through them all. sometimes when you do this, you'll just see things just jump out at you and go, yep, that's me. And these careers, they have, ignore the top row, because these just sort of shows how you can create your own values. And we'll talk to this in a moment. Create your own values, and then you can identify the ones that are the most important to the ones that are the least. But it's more about having a look at what are some of the different values that are in the workplace, and then seeing, well, where do you fit with this? And the reason I say that is I think was it I can't remember, Tristan, I don't know who did detailed work, one of you guys. When you look at that, even though in this particular person, and thank you for ever to scribble that at the top, you know, for some of us, that's not a value at all, but for some people it is. And so that would then actually become a highly important value. Let's have a look. So what are we seeing?
And it's interesting, we're so different, aren't we? Like whenever we sometimes do this in class as well, it always comes up how some people really value certain things, like maybe helping people or learning.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, others are like, oh, that'd be nice, but I don't really mind. Like I'm more, interested in teamwork or,
Yeah.
so there's no right
Absolutely.
or wrong. We're all different.
And I love doing this activity. It's actually one that we do with positive psychology quite a bit too. And that's identifying your personal values and then setting them into an order of the top 5 values. And then once you've got them, thinking about your work and about your home and about your friends, and just seeing how it plays in your decision-making processes. And this is really, really interesting what people are putting up here. What are the different ones that people are choosing? And I'm just glancing at this. Yeah. Now, again, with this, there is no right nor wrong, right? In the slightest. This is you guys actually identifying what your values are. And the key here is now starting to think back. Now, think on those careers that you had. And you've chosen 3 here, right? And Bree, even you and I do this. Let's have a look now. When you think back, say, on one of your jobs, Bree, did you have a clash in values? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I think everybody sort of, the more jobs you have and the more places you work, the more it can be, you can find that you have different things that don't necessarily align. So like I think back when I was at uni, so when I was studying, I had a part-time job where I would work and do admin in medical centres. And some of my admin work was wonderful because it was all different centres, which was nice. But some of them were very corporate, I guess, and put a lot of, their money making and importance of those sorts of things above caring for people. And that really, I struggled with that. And maybe other people wouldn't, like it would not matter to them. But for me, I've always been something where, and I think that's probably how I've ended up here, where people are the heart of what you do.
Yeah.
If money making follows that, that's wonderful. But in sort of care sort of professions, I don't think it can be the be all and end all.
Oh, absolutely. And I just, for myself, after I sold my business many years back, like many years back, and I got a job at Woolies, of all places, I was only there for a year, and I struggled big time because one of the things I loved doing was being creative. I had a marketing idea with my shop, and I'd just do it. Be creative, try these things. And at Woolworths, you're sort of here. And if I did have a great idea, which I did once, I shared it, and they won this award, and the manager got all the accolades, and to me, here I was being really innovative and creative, and there was no recognition at all. And another thing I realized is that I really need to be in a job where I help people, like you were just saying. I just like to make a difference in people's lives. So that was way against, like really, really against my value, because I wasn't really helping people. Whereas in this job, I get to do it every day. And so I just feel like my cup's being filled each day that I work here. So this is critical. What we're doing here now is looking back, looking at the things that blocked us, you know, what really conflicted with our values, and what are the values that really are enhanced with the careers that you're thinking about going into, because you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of that career by linking it to your values. I've got to work out how to clear that annotation, don't I? Oh, here we go. I think I might have. It's like a rubber, isn't it? Yes. Thank you. Right. Let's keep going. I'll just slip past this page. Okay. And just to give you also to fill a little gap here, CQ University also has these values and beliefs. And this is sort of set from the top of the ladder, and it sort of feeds down into everything that we do. And so as an employee here, there are, just clicking them all so you can see them, we have 5 different values, and it's all about, in our core business, ensure that we're engaging with our students, engaging with each other, engaging with the community. So it's very much about this giving back there to people. It's about can do, meaning that if you see a need, you do it. You know, you fill that gap. So they really want you to be these can-do people and say, yes, of course I can do that. I can help you out. I can do this. It's that real openness. And I think with that openness is that honesty and loyalty. There's leadership. They really encourage you to step up. If you see something, go out and do it. Be a leader, take other people on that journey with you. And that also that sense of inclusiveness. So making sure that we bring everyone into the fold and that we don't leave people out. So that real diversity and inclusiveness in there as well. You know, so as staff members, when we, you know, while we're working here, these are the values that are instilled in us. And for most of us, we can say these are all aligned, because they really do. They align to most of our values. They're very, very broad values. But when you're actually working in an environment like this, you're saying, well, yeah, I do take on leadership roles, or yes, I am being inclusive in what I do. But one of the things is that, and we've mentioned this just before, sometimes your values can conflict with other people. And this can make that work environment quite stressful, a bit tense at times, but it does happen. And it happens probably more times than what we really wish for it to happen. And to give you some ideas of what this looks like, sometimes you may sort of say get business partners, and they might clash over, say, ethical standards that they expect each other to uphold. Someone might have much higher ethical standards, the other person doesn't. So there's a clash, a values conflict. Sometimes you might have a person refuse to do business with another person because of unsavory moral grounds. Sometimes employees might want to spend more time at home with family than in the office, and then that could cause a values conflict with other people that they're working with. Another example could be employees who disagree, like on processes or methods that a task needs to process that has to take place. So these are all value conflicts that can happen. But again, when you understand your values and you have this open mind, you can actually see where other people are coming from, and that can then help to sort of counteract and reduce any of these conflicts that can occur. Rightio, let's flip on to the next one, because the time is disappearing. So we're going into the next one about these broader benefits of a working life. So here, what we're talking about is some of the other aspects of a really, when you're thinking about careers, is developing soft skills. And I'll talk to what soft skills means in a moment. We've talked about finding meaning and being respected. So not just being respected, but also showing respect to others and understanding that their values play a huge part in the way they interact within the work environment. So soft skills, so it's sort of a combination of these technical skills, or non-technical skills, I should say, which are used in social settings. So if we talk about soft skills, what do you think that means? So they're not a technical skill, they're a soft skill. So in the chat, pop down what do you think these might be.
Kristen's quick off the mark said teamwork. We've got adaptability, interpersonal communication. Yep, lots of communication in here. Good.
What else are you saying? Yeah.
Courage. Oh, I like that.
Yep.
Problem solving.
Yep.
Resilience. Responsibility. Gosh, look at it.
Very good. And you guys are right. You are nailing it. These are soft skills. And like, as you can see here, we've got just a few listed, but you've already added things like resilience and courage. And I think there was something else in there that we actually haven't got on this list either. But these are the soft skills that you use in social settings. Even like communication skills. I think someone mentioned that. Active listening, actually being a person that will listen to people and not always have to have your say in things. Emotional intelligence. Someone said before, courage. What about empathy and tolerance? I mean, yeah, sometimes we do have to tolerate people in the workplace, but that's a soft skill and it's really highly valued. So, where am I? And when we talk about these soft skills, having soft skills isn't a negative in the slightest. It doesn't mean that's lesser value or weak personalities. It means that you've got this capacity to be able to engage within your workplace environment and just bring a naturalness to it, a kindness in everything that you do. And as you see these here, people that have strong soft skills actually are really valued in their workplace. Sometimes, dare I say it, over your intelligence, right? Because you could be a highly intelligent person and just bring oh gosh, Brie, I'm trying to think of the word to say here, sort of a real negative vibe around you. And you might not be a good teamwork player. You might
not have the right attitude for that workplace.
Yeah. And it brings everyone else down because of it. So these soft skills, they are highly valued. If they can see that you've got these soft skills when you're going for an interview, you'll find that, because I remember being told years ago, knowledge can be taught, but attitudes can't. So the attitude plays a huge role in sometimes getting different jobs. We also talk about lifelong learning, and we've mentioned this a number of times. You'll just hear us use this term all the time because we really believe that no matter your age, you'll be learning. And as you get older, you are constantly learning. It doesn't stop. And learning happens informally and formally. So yes, you can go back to university and keep learning, but even if you don't, when you're out in the workplace, you are constantly learning in an informal manner. And nowadays too, there's so many courses you can do, and there's just ways of learning, and we become these lifelong learners. And when you're a lifelong learner, you tend to be more flexible and diverse. And also lifelong learning promotes learning beyond the traditional classroom. So we're saying that it's not just about going back to university or schooling, but you're learning when you're out in the workplace. And when you do go out, you are becoming a lifelong worker. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about the School of Life. This is a global organisation that sort of had a lot of input from philosophers where they offer advice on a range of issues in relation to work. And the researchers in the School of Life, they went around and they wanted to hear the stories of just the everyday normal working person. And what they found was that there was so much more to what people valued at work than the money, like we said right at the start. Yes, the money, the financial payment that you get is great, but so many people wanted more than that from their job. And so what they found was that right across the globe, there were shared common attributes that people were seeking from their lives. And I'm going to run through these, but maybe you might actually read this and go, that's me. This is what I really want to get. One, for instance, was helping humanity. And an example of this came from a newsagent of all things. And his statement was, if we can improve the lives of others in our daily work, it can bring a sense of joy. This doesn't mean we all have to be brain surgeons. A simple act of kindness in any workplace is appreciated. So a lot of people really wanted to help humanity. They wanted to be a person that gave back and made other people's lives better. Another one was this hairdresser was around identity. And again, many of us feel this. We want to get our identity in our career, be recognized for what we've done. And for this one, this hairdresser said that when a job fits with our character, it helps us to develop as a human being, and that our work is a path to our own identity. But vocations can still be changing. So identity is a big one. Sociability, like a taxi driver, finding a workplace where we feel we belong gives a social structure to our daily work routines and communications. So yes, some people really love the social nature of work. For others, it's about control. And this was a steam cleaner said, when we are the master of our working life, it can bring a sense of peace when faced with the things we may not be able to control in our lives. And I think this is a good one to think about because, sometimes we can get a bit judgy, and I think we all do it. Let's be honest. You might see someone who's just a cleaner at a school and you think, oh, they're just a cleaner. But, there is so much more to that job, and it actually brings them a sense of identity. It brings them a sense of control. They know where they're going. They know what they are doing. And in a lot of times that gives them that peace that they know what to do and when to do it, because sometimes people's lives can be spiraling out of control. You don't know that, but this is the job, is keeping them, stable. So I think it's about really appreciating what the different roles are that people do and what they get out of it. And a dressmaker, she said, a better self. Like this, when I say it's she, I'm meaning when you research, these were clusters of different people. When they themed it, this is the themes that came out. But just wanting to be a better self, better person than the person that walked in, right? It's about developing that, showing our best selves to the world. And the last one was dignity. Now, I think this is really a very precious one, appreciating the role of dignity in workplaces and in contributing to the lives of others and helping them out. There was one more I missed, growth. And, as we're developing our identity, we are growing. Our intelligence is exercised. We feel that we're growing as human beings, and it becomes very, very fulfilling. So to finish off this, again, this is a quote that's come from the School of Life. If you only think about money and status as the good sides to work, think again. And with this research that they did, what they found was that whilst everyone needed to earn money, it was these other elements, these soft skills and these characteristics that drove people to keep doing what they were doing, what they wanted to get out of their workplace, what made it meaningful for them. When we think about meaningful work, it can take forms in many, many different ways. It can be giving back through being nursing. It can be just hospitality where you're going and serving and interacting, with people sitting at the tables. It could be teaching, giving back to the young people in our community and helping them to be the best people they can be. Meaningful work could literally be research, could be delving in, could be the agricultural, the farmers out there. I mean, they find meaning because, there's something really amazing about growing food and being able to help feed people. Like there's meaning in that. So no matter the job, meaning can be found. And this is where we want you to be looking at and finding meaning in where you're wanting to go. When we think also about workplaces, respect at work is a huge thing. And personal wellness is connected to a workplace. So people that are really struggling, if they are in a really toxic workplace, then it's going to impact their mental health, their physical health, and just everything about them. So we need to also remember that we all can play a part in making the workplace a healthier place to be. We all not only need to feel respected, but we also need to show respect and appreciation to others as well. It's reciprocal. And I think the beauty here is that each of us, we can bring positivity to our place of work. Like it's within our grasp to be able to do that. starts by showing respect, being respectful of, and being patient with others. There's other ways of doing it, showing gratitude to people, remembering someone's birthday and acknowledging them, organizing a little farewell for somebody, or offering to go and do a coffee run, or, just stopping and chatting to somebody that you haven't spoken to for ages. This is just how you show respect. And it's can so easily be done through the little things that we do. Any thoughts on that? Bree, what's happening in our chat?
Little conversations going on here. We've just had a few people talking about, so Tristan just mentioned in this sort of theme of respect, that he had a job that he really loved and a whole industry that he loved that was really impacted by one not very kind and respectful boss. And I think that can be common, unfortunately. I was talking to a student just last term who was talking about, actually in hospitality, that she'd worked in hospitality for years and really loved it. And it was just this one, very toxic workplace that sort of changed that for her. So it's so important that we uphold these values, and they're also law. Like that's the reality here, that we all have a right to be respected at work and to respect others.
Exactly. And you've nailed it there, Bree. I think it's also respecting ourselves when you're in that sort of environment, being able to either stand up and say, hey, respect me, or I'm walking out and finding somewhere that will respect you. That's a big thing. And it's hard, because especially if you're needing the money to come in, it is very hard to do that. But again, it's about respecting yourself and expecting that others will show you that same respect. So the next part's about, I want to just talk about social innovation. Now, this may be sort of a newish term for some of you guys, but I want to talk about what social innovation is and how it can sort of weave into your lives as well as you head out. So Seeker University, we're actually what they call a change maker institute. So we're a group of different universities right across the globe that value social innovation, so value giving back to the community. And we define social innovation as engaging with communities to find solutions to entrenched social issues. So in a very simplistic way, it's about seeing the need in the community and then having someone or people say, we can help fix that need, and actually going out of their way to establish some sort of innovation that helps address that need. We recently just wrote a paper, which is being published very, very soon, actually, about social innovation and the mindset, the social innovation mindset that we see within our programs. And we say, this is the quote, sounds a little bit formal, but the interrelation of a socially constructed concept and an agentic mindset, and this is a part I love, that empowers its actors to create positive social change. And I said, out of all that quote, if you just take the last part, that's all I want you to take away from it. Its social innovation mindset empowers people, every person, each one of you, to create positive social change, right? And this is what we're going to be talking about. So what does a social innovation mindset look like for students? What are we wanting to see develop? And for us, and as you go through Seeker University, you're going to see and hear a lot more about social innovation, because it's actually woven into all of our courses. But social innovation mindset is an attitude of giving back, right? You're giving back to the community in either paid or unpaid work. So when we talk about paid work, potentially you could start an innovation where there's income coming in order to run that. So it could be paid. It could be unpaid, where you're volunteering. But it's also looking for opportunities to actually apply your skills and to create positive social change. So as you go through your degree and as you're learning and becoming this professional within careers, you may actually find that you can give back by using this new knowledge. So for instance, our engineers here, they get taken over to developing countries, put into a little village, and they have to go and talk to people, have a look, what are the issues that they're having. And then once they find issues, then they have to develop or create or innovate something that's going to help overcome those issues. So it's a way of them giving back, but they're using this new professional knowledge. So, you know, there are many professions out there that reflect this giving back attitude. What do you think are some of them? Like when you think about professions in our society, what are some professions that you can see give back in just in the role that they undertake? Let's see
Just
what people.
whilst we're waiting for those to come in, sorry, there's just been a bit of chat in there about eye change. And eye changes, yeah, it's an optional activity that you can complete, and you can access it via Moodle. And I think Dean's very kindly actually put the link in for us.
Yeah, well done. So we'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, but just so everyone knows.
Yeah, good on you for seeing it and doing it. Yeah. So what are we seeing, Bree? So what professions reflect a
We've
giving
got
back attitude?
teachers.
Yep.
Engineers, doctors, social workers, nurses, paramedics, lots of medical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jobs in there.
So if one of your values is about helping people and, you know, wanting to make a difference in people's lives, then the career, if you choose a career path that's going to actually instill that and allow that to happen, you're going to find meaning in that particular job. My next question is, but who can be these change makers?
Couple of people have just said some different ones. Sorry, I'll add those before I answer the next one. A couple of people have said police, defence, construction.
Yep.
And Linda has said anyone. And so is Kristen. Anyone who can be a change maker, anyone with the time. That's a good one.
Yeah. And I mean, that's actually a good point, Ellen, because time is against a lot of us. You know, it is very, very hard to find the time to be able to give back, but sometimes it doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much to do something. Yeah. If I had time to share some stories with you, but I think we're running out of time. I talk too much. I wanted to show you this graph actually that is in our paper that we've just getting published. But one of the things when we did this research into social innovation and our enabling program, so the program that you're involved in, we wanted to see how does social innovation really fit into this agenda that we have. And what we found through our research was that social innovation, let's get this right, enabling programs, so this type of program that we run actually are, depending if it's plural or singular, they are social innovation in action. Because what we are doing, this type of program, is incubators for change. It's actually helping people to be able to make a change in their lives so they can step, say, out into university and continue to make a change in their own personal lives. What we see is that the enabling educators are these agents of change, because we are the ones that are empowering and encouraging you guys to see yourself in a different light and to apply these different things to make yourself a better person. But the key is that there's this underlying belief through the enabling program and through the educators that it's actually our students who are the ones that can bring about change, because you know what's happening in your world, in your sphere. And as you develop and become professionals, you have that chance to give back. So you actually are the catalyst for change. In the future, it's you who's going to bring about change. And so that's what our research actually presents. So when we talk about social innovation, there's so many examples of social innovation out there. And it doesn't have to be just this one idea type of mindset. It's about, like I said before, identifying a need and then doing something about it, setting something in place that helps to overcome it. So you can see here, there's, you might know some of these. Oh, who gives a crap? You all have that toilet paper. So it's a really interesting story to read. And they actually give back as well. So their whole business plan is very much about using sustainable products and then giving back then to those communities. Tinder for Farmers are another beautiful one. It's where you're connecting young and old. So young people and older experienced people over the love of land. Containers for change. That is actually social innovation in action there as well. Just the containers for change. There's another one you guys have probably heard of, and that's the Orange Sky Laundry. This is beautiful, where these guys saw a need, homeless, not being able to say afford or to be able to get to a laundromat. And so they go around and they actually help them to shower, do their laundry, and just have conversation. So many of them are just missing the conversation. I wanted to share a little one with you now. And this one here, you will not have heard of this yet, but this is something that I started with a friend, where there's this real need, I think it's a need, to see more women out cycling. I love cycling, but there's so many women that won't do it, and there's many, many reasons. And so we started these Pink Flamingos. We have heaps of ladies in Bundaberg now are part of this Pink Flamingo cycling. We've now started hubs in Hervey Bay and Maryborough and Cairns and Kingaroy, just all these places of women who go, you know what, I really can see that the value in that. I want to help out. And then they'll start a hub and they start bringing people in. Anyway, we are expanding. We're just starting to expand throughout Queensland and then maybe nationally. Who knows where it takes us? But all it took was, us saying, you know what, let's get together on a Sunday afternoon. Let's teach women how to ride, how to be safe on the road, help them to build their fitness up. And this is what's developed from that. You don't need ultra special skills, business skills. You just need to have a heart for helping people. But what you can also do, if you don't feel that you are a leader in this type of thing, it's simply volunteering, being there to actually give back to the community. And it's called social consciousness. It's the idea of giving back. It's at the heart of volunteering. A lot of research that you read over this says that you actually get more out of volunteering than, say, the organisation gets. Yes, it's helping them because it's not costing them as much, but socially, you get more back from actually volunteering. And they say that almost 1/3 of Australians aged over 15 spend some time volunteering. There's so much to it. And unfortunately, when I look at that, I tend to also think the negative here and flip it and going, yeah, but there's 2/3 of Australians that don't volunteer. What are they missing out on? Doesn't take much time to actually go and give a little bit of yourself. Brie, I thought at the side of my eye, I saw someone talk about ways that they can volunteer, ways they can give back. Do you remember seeing something along those lines?
Yeah, a couple of people have put different things into the chat about ways they've volunteered. Keisha put a great one about even just talking to your local cafe about starting a pay it forward coffee or a meal
Yeah.
for people that are struggling. A few people have talked about volunteer roles they've had. I think from memory, Dean talked about volunteering in an animal shelter or with
Yeah.
dogs. Tristan talked about volunteer firefighting. So yeah, there's been quite a few different comments in there about different opportunities.
That's good. And I do know that it does take time, and and we all appreciate when you're taking on study, and especially if you've got a family and work, sometimes we don't have that time to be able to give. But it's not always about going and spending hours at an organization. It simply could be doing simple acts of kindness. I used to do that as an assessment, part of an assessment task in one of our positive psychology units, and people had to go out for an hour and do these simple acts of kindness. It's astounding the reflections that came back from those activities. And it literally could just be going and sitting and talking to someone on a seat, an old person that's sitting there by themselves. Go and have a chat. Here goes my screen again. I'm back in the disco, everybody. Let's keep going. So think about that. There are many, many different ways that you can volunteer. I'm just going to click past that. Oh, Hugh Jackman, yes. And this is one, Laughing Man Coffee. Don't know if you've heard of that, but Hugh Jackman and unfortunately his ex-wife, they traveled to Africa and they met this young coffee farmer. And after spending time on that farm, he recognised the importance of fair trade coffee. And so he started this company to work directly with these growers. There is a movie trailer on that one too. but yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time. I think that the movie could be Ducal's Dream or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. And it,
Dukale, Ducal's Dream. So if you ever have time, that'd be a great one to watch. Oh, we've got to keep going. We're disappearing. The time's gone. But look, there are definitely benefits to volunteering and giving back to the community. And the research, and actually, this is fact, this is actual research, that volunteers are happier, they're healthier, and they sleep better than people that don't volunteer. So just that simple act of giving back and helping others is actually beneficial for your health. And I know in the module, we actually bring in this growth mindset because it's so valuable. Sometimes you can be listening to all this, us sharing about this, and you go, yeah, but I don't have the time, or oh, people wouldn't want to listen to me, or you always find the negatives, and that when you're talking about this growth mindset, that's a very fixed mindset where you just look at the deficit, look at the negative and go, nah, my life can't change. But a growth mindset basically counteracts it and says, well, you know what? Okay, I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm going to think about ways I could do this. I could do it in this small way, or potentially I could do this, but you're thinking differently. By thinking differently, by having a growth mindset, it means you're setting yourself apart. You actually have the potential to be successful because of this mindset. You're not blocking yourself. And unfortunately, sometimes it's our minds and our mindsets that can be our worst critic instead of being our strongest advocate. So keep that in mind. Sometimes we are our worst critic. We are not our strongest advocate. And it should be the flip. We should be the ones that actually are barracking and encouraging ourselves like, yes, you can do this. Yes, let's go on. Let's change. Let's do this. Let's do that. Instead of, yeah, no, you shouldn't be. Yeah, see, and I can even just on the corner of my eye, I just saw Tristan's comment there. Try not to look at the chat, but you are exactly right. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Remember the Be Positive that's on this the Moodle site. The Be Positive there, we actually have one on the growth mindset. Great one to watch. But again, it's about that change, recognizing that, hey, I want to change this mindset and then doing things about it. So finding that type of program to watch and to look at ways that you can change the way that you think about yourself. This next slide, I just want to quickly show you this. This is one of our actual lecturers here, Sasha Job. She's straight up above me in the office, straight up above on top of me here. She's a physiotherapist, and she came up with this U Beach, and it's been developed to help disabled people to actually access the beach. And she's won awards on this. She's actually doing her PhD around it as well. But, again, it was just a simple idea of how can we actually help disabled people to touch the sand or be in the water. And she was able to develop this, and now it's spreading across Australia and even internationally. Now, you guys have talked a little bit earlier about iChange. So iChange is this sort of foundational program or foundational course on understanding what is social innovation. We encourage you guys to do it. It doesn't cost you anything. You get a digital badge. And if you don't know about digital badges, what you should be starting to do, or micro credentials, we have used those terms interchangeably here. When you do these micro credentials, you get these digital badges, you add them to your CV or your resume, right? They are showing that you are developing professionally. You're doing this PDs. So the iChange program is free. It is good to do now because what you're doing is you're learning about it. So you're getting that foundational understanding so that when you go into undergrad, you're already one step ahead. You understand what social innovation is. You understand, how the part you play. And then when you start to do those units of study that are taking you to that next level, you've already got that foundational understanding. So we encourage you to hop on and do it. The link is just go into social innovation. I think someone popped that link over there as well. Thanks, Dean. Click on that. It doesn't take you long to do, and you'll have that foundation understanding and a micro credential.
I was just saying too, sorry, quickly, Trix,
Yep.
Keisha just asked a great question if they could do that in between their terms, like rather than doing it now. And
Yep.
so everyone, just so you know, if you want to save that link and maybe you've got a little bit more time.
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
assessments.
Put in your diary to do, because you will actually be expected to do it in undergrad anyway. So if you do it now, it's done ahead of time before you get to undergrad. So, just before we finish up, because we're getting very, very close to the end, I wanted to share Tracy's story with you, Tracy Lohman. She's actually completed the Bachelor of Medical Science and the Bachelor of Science with honours. And I just want to read her quote. She says, before enrolling in STEPS, Tracy was a stay-at-home mum looking to return to the workforce after having 3 children. Her employment history showed multiple jobs in different sectors. The longest she stayed in any job was 2 years. Around the 2-year mark, she'd get an unsettling feeling, prompting questions such as, can I advance any further here? Do I want to keep going with this job? I'm sure some of you are actually going, oh, sounds like me. The answers were always no. So Tracy would quit and move on to the next job that yet again, once again, offered no satisfaction or no opportunity for advancement. A job that was a means to an end, or where she would not learn anything new or be challenged. One day, Tracy realized she was sick of having a job. She needed to get out of that vicious cycle. She needed a change. She wanted something more. And she said, I was looking for an opportunity. I wanted more financial security. So here, this typifies what a lot of you guys are feeling, and probably what Brie and I've also felt in the past. You know, we had jobs. They were a means to an end. They were to earn money. But you get to a point where you want a career. You want something that's going to be meaningful. And so this is this juncture right this very minute where you're looking at a future career that's going to give you meaning. And so you are at that pivotal point at this very time. So take solace in what she has been through. Others have been through it, and you can find meaning in a future career. So important take-home messages. Number 1, workplace values. They really need to align with your personal values. And what you bring into that workforce really does dictate what you get out of it as well. Soft skills are highly valued. That's what employment's organizations are looking for. People with not only the intelligence and the skills, but the soft skills as well. Meaningful work can differ between each one of us. We are unique. The type of careers and jobs that we want to undertake are unique, but it's about you finding that meaningful work that relates to your values. We want to encourage that element of respect at work. Not only do you give respect to others, but, respect yourself and expect that in return. And the final little takeaway is about just recognizing the value of giving back to your community, whether that be social innovation initiatives, whether that be volunteering. You can give back to your community. So the final saying, when your values are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier. So that is it. Just a reminder, LPB due at the end of this week, and quiz 2 is due Monday of week 13. Or if you're in term 3, it'll be actually Tuesday of week 13, I think. Or is it? No, I can't remember now, Brie.
I think it's the other way around. Sorry.
Could be the other way around.
This term it'll be Tuesday just because of the public holiday.
Is that what it is? This term's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, please ignore the Monday on this screen.
But if you're watching this in term 3,
term 3
is correct.
Exactly. Oopsies. Right,
Check
I've finish that recording. Thanks. And I'll stop sharing.